los días sueño contigo. Quiero estar a tu lado. Todos los días me siento solo. Quiero estar contigo. Carino, carino, carino. Quiero estar a tu lado. Quiero estar contigo. Carino, carino, carino. Quiero estar a tu lado. Quiero estar contigo. Todos los días sueño contigo. Quiero estar a tu lado. Todos los días me siento solo. Quiero estar contigo. Carino, carino, carino. Quiero estar a tu lado. Quiero estar contigo. Carino, carino, carino. Quiero estar a tu lado. Quiero estar contigo.
Hi everyone, it's me Ani and welcome to Creative Cooking in Ani's Kitchen. Today I'm going to do the third dish, one of the many that I'm going to make for Feast of Tabernacle. I already have a video on the string beans with smoked meats, potatoes and onions. It's 2 videos back. And the most recent one was how I prepare my cornbread dressing. Now, it's not baked, but during the Feast of Tabernacles, I will be reviewing, or taping, I should say, the dishes. So you'll see how they've all turned out. The green beans you did see, the string beans, because those got cooked, you know, pretty much all the way. So during the Feast of Tabernacles, they'll only have to sit in low heat in that crock pot and just let it heat up on its own. But today I'm going to do the baked mac and cheese. Now again, I'm not baking it today, but I am going to prepare it. And you'll see the final results on the Feast of Tabernacles video. 2020. So anyway, without any further ado, oh, and this is not my crock pot baked mac and cheese, okay? That's ultimate right there. That you can look up the video for that one. It's the crock pot baked, no. Yeah, I guess crock pot baked, because it does go into the oven. Baked mac and cheese, and it's out of this world delicious. But check out that video and then come back and check out this method that I'm getting ready to do. And in this pot, it's like a one pot mix of everything, and then you just pour it into the tray. But I'm going to show you what I mix in there. Okay, to get it, oh, so delicious, baked mac and cheese. There's so many different variations of baked mac and cheese out there. This is just one of many, and I just thought I'd share it with you because I don't always do the same recipe over and over. I like to challenge myself, you know, and get creative. That's what this channel is all about, you know, and I hardly ever do the same dish twice. For some reason, I just get inspired in the middle of cooking and, you know, just go for it and add, oh, I'm going to add this and see how that tastes. I do that. That's me all the way. And it should be You too. That way, yeah, you get away from the ordinary, not that those old-fashioned recipes are anything to laugh at. They're delicious. But get creative in there and kind of alter it, make it your own. Not everyone has the same taste buds. Not everyone likes the same things. So get creative. Imagine what would taste, good to you if you added it in one of those recipes. Just make it your own is what I'm trying to say. And we do that here in Creative Cooking. This channel is not for experts by any means. I am not certified, registered, or whatever, educated in culinary arts, I should say. I'm not a chef, nothing. I'm just a mother who raised 4 beautiful children and was raised by a family that gathered together with neighbors and all the ladies together in the kitchen and get to cooking. And I was shown, by sitting there and participating in the prep work, I was shown these dishes, and which is usually traditional. I am Puerto Rican, but I was born and raised in New York. Okay, so a little difference there, but the culture of Puerto Rico, La Isla de Encante, was instilled in me. So with that, thanks Mom, thanks Dad, thank you my sisters, thank you my neighbors, thank you just the Puerto Rican family, period. I love that culture. I love their food. I love their spices. There's nothing boring about their spices, I gotta tell you. But I should say our spices. But I also like to go out, think outside the box, go outside the box, experience outside the box. And so this dish, baked mac and cheese, I wonder, where did that come from? I'll tell you when we come back. Okay, here we go. We're going to get ready to start. And in this one, you don't have to shred your cheese. You can just dice them into, unless you want to, into just little, small cubes. So that's why I have the cheese still in the package, block cheese. Try to use block cheese on your mac cheese. Fresh is always better, And again, you don't, in this recipe, you don't have to grate it as you do in the crock pot recipe. And I was going to do a crock pot, and then I said, you know what? I have a video on that already. I'm just going to show them how I do it the other way. And did anybody look up where macaroni and cheese came from? Of course, Italiano. Italia. Yep, Italy. They found early recipes. I'm going to move you around just a little bit. I'm trying to get these legs situated. Early recipes, meaning more than one. Like I said before, there are very many variations because there are many different cheeses, I guess. They found many recipes as early in Italy as early as the 13th century. So, yep, Italianos did that one. Had to take a sip of water. Okay, so without further ado, let me show you how I'm going to make this one. Okay, I just need to get one more thing, which is some ranch. Now you can make or bake, I should say, this with a crumb topping if you like. Sometimes, I think about doing that, and then other times I'm like, I don't know, maybe, that's just so reserved to me for like a tuna casserole kind of dish. But if you wanted to, you could do it with the baked mac. Most people do that topping with the skillet baked mac. Oh yeah, you can make a baked mac and cheese in a skillet and throw that sucker in the oven. Oh yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get my macaroni boiling and cooked, and I'll bring you back, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to use here. I've got here a little 8-ounce package of sharp cheddar. Mild is usually always better. But sharp is okay. Extra sharp, no, not okay. Because it gets gritty like. You know, it doesn't really melt all the way. But sharp is okay. It'll work. I got some Kobe Monterey Jack. Okay. Now, I got, my husband had to run out and I asked him for mozzarella cheese. I forgot to specify block. Bless his heart. But I got some mozzarella. This one says reduced fat. This one says low moisture. So you got different types of mozzarella. Bless his heart. All right. Then I've got here some Velveeta cheese sauce. Okay. Now, if you didn't want to use processed cheese, you can always make your own with some heavy whipping cream and blocks of or little cubes of mild cheddar with a little bit of Parmesan Romano. I would do that and cook it down to a sauce that way. I went ahead and took the easy way out this time because I have a lot of cooking to do. So that's the cheese sauce. I think it comes with 3 packets. 3 4-ounce pouches, and I will be using every single one. Okay, because I'm making a tray this big. Yeah, so I'm gonna need that deep. I'm gonna need every little bit. Also, here's my Parmesan Romano. Definitely put that in there in that mix. Ricotta cheese. Yes, it is a cheese. So ricotta cheese. Be careful with ricotta though, because it's a dry cheese. So, but the eggs that you're going to use in this mix, we will be using about 4 eggs. I may add 2 extra just because of the ricotta cheese. It is a dry cheese. Very absorbent cheese. It'll absorb all your liquor. You get some dry mac, baked mac. Sour cream, I've got another tub in the fridge that's about halfway full. So I'll need another half to equal exactly 1 pound, 8 ounce amount. Then I've got here some ranch. This gives an awesome flavor. You're going to need about a half a cup. I'm making a whole tray, as I showed you before. So I'm making this whole tray, which means I'll need about a half a cup of sugar, okay? And then to kind of enhance all the savory flavors, okay? So I'm going to say about a cup of ranch, 2 cans, I've got 2 cans of evaporated milk here, okay? I may need more, who knows? We'll see. And I've got some Nestle's half and half table cream. Okay, media means half. Half cream, half table. Alright, so then over here we've got some 2% milk. If you have whole milk, that's even better. But like I said, I've got heavy whipping cream, so I'll be mixing some of that heavy whipping cream with what looks like to be 2 cups of milk. Okay, so about a cup of heavy whipping cream with 2 cups of milk. I'm drying out some basil from my tree. I mean, from my plant. I said tree. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to boil my shells, okay, and I'll be back once that's done, okay. And you don't have to cool down the macaroni and cheese. I mean, rinse it out in cold water to stop the cooking process. But if it's still a little warm, that's fine, because you're going to need a very low heat to melt all your cheeses in there, because you're going to have cubes of cheeses that you want a little bit melty, you know, and then before you pour it into the pan. Although the oven will bake it the rest of the way. This is the type of mac and cheese that has little spots of, or little bits of actual cheese all over. All right, here's another thing I didn't introduce. Because I'm making such a big tray, 2 bars of cream cheese. This has to be soft, so it has to be at room temperature. And these have been out for a couple of days, so they're nice and soft. And yeah, if you could whip it up with the milk, with the EVAP milk, before you put it in the mixture and save that for last with your eggs, that would be ideal. Don't forget to salt and pepper to taste if you like pepper. I personally don't use pepper, but I do use basil. But I'm going to use basil flakes, not freshly chopped. So I'll use a little bit of salt, of course, basil, and that will be my seasonings, my spices. And I will not be putting in any onions or anything like that, because there will be children at the Feast of Tabs, and children they flock to baked mac and cheese, or mac and cheese period. So I don't want to ruin it for them with an adult type taste. Some kids love it, but most don't. So I'm going to consider my guests. Whenever you have an event, always consider your guests. You know, and I'm not talking to individual likes and dislikes. We can't afford to do that. We can't afford to satisfy everyone. But, you know, as a whole, there's kind of a theme, you know, and a given that you can go by. And that's a given right there. A lot of kids don't like onions, so I won't be putting it in there. So the cream cheese definitely has to go in. And this is going to make for a very creamy and cheesy baked mac. Again, you can use black pepper if you're into that. I am going to use some smoked paprika at the end, just to sprinkle on top, with a little bit of parsley for decoration. But other than that, that's as far as I go with the spices. The salt and the basil flakes. That's it. Alright, so also when I boil the noodles, I will be boiling them in with the chicken bouillon cube to add the flavor into the noodle itself. So that's very delicious. If you don't boil your pasta in any kind of stock, you need to start. It's really good. Okay, so here I go. I'll be right back with the noodles already cooked. Okay, guys, while the macaroni, it's not even in the pot yet, the water's still heating up, and let me show you, I do have the chicken bouillon in there with a little bit of salt. So as soon as that comes to a boil, we'll go ahead and put the macaroni, the shells in, the macaroni shells, which I have right here. Okay, here we go. And I always use I don't use the large ones. I use kind of the small ones, I guess, only because this releases so much starch. I don't like that starchy taste. So the little ones, you know, you can kind of boil that out a little bit better than the large ones. I mean, that just keeps giving and giving and giving. So, yeah, I want to taste the cheese, not the starch, please. It's that kind of thing for me. But anyway, it's just a preference, you know, personal preference. So I've got here my Vidalia Chop Wizard. And if you don't have one of these, I'm telling you, you definitely need to get one of these. It even has measurements, okay, on the side. It's easy cleanup, and it works great. You don't have to chop. You lay your little blocks of cheese in here, you know, and just open it back up, and it's chopped. Okay, now here's the thing, is that you've got to get little blocks of cheese out of your block of cheese, right? So I'm going to show you how to do that with another fancy tool called a mandolin. Okay, let me open this cheese real quick and I will show you, give you a demonstration. Alright. Okay, I'm ready. Let me show you. Let's see what setting. I want the thickest setting, which is a number 3 on this mandolin. And I don't know if you can see, that's the thickness that it's going to give me. See that? Alright. So what you do is you can pretty much lay it flat and just slide across. And there you have your first slice. And you just keep going. Three more slices. See that? And that's all that's to that. So I'm going to finish here and do all my cheeses like that, and then I'll show you how. Well, let me demonstrate it now. Why don't we do that? Okay? And then I'll come back and it'll all be chopped up. Okay? So you take your cheeses and you just put it into this square. Okay, into the space right here that it gives you. Okay. And this comes right out. And because it's cheese, it will stick a little. You can always like spray the blades, but there you have it. That'll melt easily. It will come together easily. All right, and that's what I'm going to do with all of my cheese blocks. Oh well, there's just 2 of them. The Monterey Jack, Kobe Monterey Jack, and the cheddar. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll bring you guys back once it's all done. I'll show you my bowl full of square cheese. Okay guys, I wanted to show you, this is the finished product for the cheddar. See that? Nice little squares. So I'm going to put that in the bowl, and I'm going to do the Kobe Monterey Jack cheese next. I'll be back. Okay guys, I am done with my cheeses. There it is, all mixed in there. So I shower capped it, and I'll leave it out. I've got the macaroni boiling over here, and I put this whole canister in here. I'm going to say this is about 1 whole box of large box of shells and a half. So 1.5 box, large boxes of shells is what I have in here. Now I have my bouillon in here and a little bit of salt, just 1 chicken bouillon. And the trick to this, you don't add any oil or anything, because you want the cheese mixture to stick to the noodles, okay? Which is why it's always best to use fresh block cheese, because it sticks. Unlike the shredded cheese that's already, well, the pre-shredded cheese that's in a bag, they spray it with some kind of an oil so they don't clump up together in the bag. So that's why it's always best to do your baked mac with some blocks of cheese, okay? And if you don't want to use processed cheese, don't. I usually don't like doing it. But I have a lot to do, a lot to cook with, and that's just one step that will ease that. Not sure, because I find it very relaxing when I cook and I'm in the kitchen, but it'll just lighten the load, you know. One less taxing step. So I've used all my shells. I'm going to put this back in here. So don't put any oil when you're making baked mac and cheese. Don't put any oil on your macaroni, please. If after it's cooked and it's going to be in the saucepan for a minute, go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of EVO, extra virgin olive oil, or a spat of butter, and mix that in there, and that'll keep them nice and separated. Don't let them soak in water. I don't care how much water, how cold the water is or anything. Don't do that, because the only time cold water or ice should hit your pasta, it's when you're trying to stop the cooking process, okay? But once you've done that, just strain it out, okay? Get that water out of there, drain that water out of there, and let it sit in the pot with a little spat of butter. Make sure you know, or EVO, and that's it. If you let it sit in water in your pot, that pasta is going to absorb all that, because don't forget, it's made of flour. And it's going to just get waterlogged on you. And that is some nasty tasting pasta. For me it is. Anyway, so if you're in the habit of doing that, try it the other way, and I bet you that your pasta will stay firm. Unless you like mush. If you like mush, do mush. Do you. Okay? Not that you're mush, I'm just saying, due to your taste, you know. And so this pasta, as you can see, has already been cooking just a couple of minutes. It's already, because they're little shells, and you don't see as much starch in the water, do you? You sure don't. See that? You don't see that much starch. The bigger ones you do. I mean, it's like cloudy. But anyway, this is about halfway done, which is how I like my pasta to be, because it finishes cooking in the oven. So you don't want them all the way cooked, especially when you have to mix a lot of stuff into it, which is another point I want to make. Try to mix as much as you can in a separate bowl before putting it in there. That way you don't mess with the macaroni too much. You mess with the macaroni too much by adding one ingredient at a time and stirring, you're going to get macaroni soup. You know, you're going to destroy the firmness and the shape of your macaroni. They'll fall apart on you. Remember, they're tender babies. Okay? Now this looks to be just as I want it, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a taste first, okay? Let's go ahead and scoop this up into a spoon and blow on it. That's perfect. Done. Take it off the heat. Now, I'm not going to run this under cold water too much. Just very lukewarm water, because it doesn't have that much starch, because they're little. So I'm going to strain this over the sink, and I'll be back and show you what we do next. Okay, I have drained out all the water. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make my mixture. First, we're going to put in our Velveeta cheese sauce. To get that cheese going, so sticking to the noodles, to the macaroni. Okay. Now the macaronis are still warm, they're still hot, and that's how we want them. So we're going to go ahead and put in all of our cheese sauces, and then we're going to mix our other ingredients in that separate bowl and pour it all in here. Okay. That's the Velveeta cheese. 2 more pouches to go, and we'll be there. We'll go ahead and put this in, and then I'll show you how to do the mixture. So, I hope everyone had a good day today. It is Tuesday. Monday's even uglier sister. And I say that only because it doesn't really serve a purpose in our calendar. I feel like Monday you've had the weekend, you know, so you kind of rested up, you're ready to go back. You know, it's the Monday's blues, and Wednesday is hump day, you know, you've gotten over the hump of the middle, you're in the middle of the week. Thursday, well, for some it's payday, and the next day is Friday, so everyone's happy about that, you know. And then there's the weekend. But what about Tuesday? You see what I'm saying? I know, silly me. Oop. Alright, so we've got our cheese sauces in there. Now I'm going to wipe my gloves off. Rinse them out. Alright, wipe them off. Alright, we are going to cover this. I'm going to get the lid and put that on there. And we're going to start mixing in this bowl. So I'm going to switch stations. I'll switch you over here. Be right back. Okay, everyone. I went ahead and put my 2 bars of cream cheese in there. I am going to put on some fresh new gloves. Okay. I was snapping those peas, or not peas, those string beans, the other day, about 3 pounds, you know, snapping off the edge and pulling the string as much as I can get. And after doing that, my thumbs got really sore. I said sore, especially this one. So now, you know, any pressure really hurts. Okay, so 2 bars of cream cheese. And into that, we are going to put in our half and half table cream.
You should feel deep wide. What? Did you feel deep?
Really nice and creamy.
You ready to go inside? I'm not playing that.
All right. Okay. Just gonna mash this up a little bit. Again, the cream cheese was sitting out for a couple of days, so it's nice and soft. See? Alright, put in our two cans of evap. That's one. We're going to go ahead, now that we got that one can in, we're going to smooth this out. You could do this in your blender. I say blender. It's blender. I have some bad habits. New York habits. Oh well.
It tastes better. And time spent together, even better.
There. Wipe this off. Put that back there. I have cords everywhere. Alright, so we've got that cream cheese all nice and creamed out. See that? So now we're going to put in the second can of evap. I need a new can opener. Now that cream cheese has been broken down, everything else will be pretty much a breeze. Here's the sour cream, half a tub. Half a tub. which would be 12 ounces. So a cup and a half.
President Donald Trump is going to take our case to the American people, and he's going to take the fight straight to Joe Biden. We're going to lay out the contrast tonight, and it's on. And the enthusiasm here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, is just palpable. We couldn't be more excited, and this big lunch party is just one thousands all across the country that are going to be cheering our president on tonight. It's going to be a great night.
Mix that in there.
Kamala Harris will put out tax returns today. It's clear that they are going to make a big issue out of this New York Times story. I want to play a soundbite from Senator Harris.
You've got teachers, you've got firefighters, you've got, frontline workers.
Ricotta cheese.
You've got people who are doing God's work to protect and lift us up, paying more in taxes than the self-professed billionaire.
Oops.
It's useless.
Alright, so what we did was we put in here,
Who's going to play, and do you think it makes them on?
Well, it feels like the same
put
old
that in the sink so I can rinse it out before I throw it out.
came up in 2016.
We put in there, that's 32 ounce I think.
Was a job creator. He's a bill
Yeah, so we put in here, let's see,
state and local taxes, payroll taxes. He created thousands of jobs
8,
as he built
12,
his business over many, many years. And the president's dismissed the New York Times report as
8,
false, but I think the American
16,
people know
24. I would say we put in about 26 ounces. That's 3 cups and 2 ounces.
our first 3 years by cutting
Right, let's see, 8, 16,
unleashing American energy in great states like here in Pennsylvania.
24.
We saw 7
Yeah,
million jobs
3
created.
cups
It's
and
also the reason
2 ounces. Sorry, it's nighttime and I've had a long day.
months see more than 10 million Americans go back to work.
So we're going to go ahead and break this ricotta cheese down with the spatula.
One of the big contrasts
Okay.
tonight, if the Democrats want to spend their
It's so soft you don't need your beater with it. If you want to use your mixer, hand mixer, whatever, you go right ahead. Or just, like I said, if you've got a Ninja or a tall blender, you can do all this and that.
4 more years of President
You
Donald
know.
Trump in 2020.
On that New York Times story. The president said that it was all fake news.
All right.
Fake news. But he also tweeted out this. The fake news media, just like election time 2016, is bringing up my taxes and all sorts of other nonsense with illegally obtained information and only that intent. I paid millions of dollars in taxes, but was entitled like everyone else to.
Hey, Hubster, can you lower that? I don't want it to come out on the video and then they won't let me post it. They're very picky,
Let me just say, I remember, Brent,
even though it's open news.
4 years ago, the same kind of allegation.
Did you hear me?
And again,
Can you lower that so that it doesn't show up on my video and then they won't allow me to post it? Thank you, I appreciate it. He's so into that. He doesn't even hear me. Not even if I did a rain dance in front of him. Okay, so we've got that pretty much mixed in there. So, into this mixture, we're going to put in our mozzarella. 2 cups right in there. Alright, so we got that cheese in there. Then we're going to put in Parmesan Romano. This is a 6 ounce, so I'm going to say this is 2 ounces. Parmesan Romano. Right in there. Okay. Mix that in there.
It's time to lean on each other. And laugh.
These cheeses have oils in them naturally, so that's why you really shouldn't put oil or anything on your pasta. You don't want it too greasy. Okay. Now, as far as this cheese, we're going to put the second bag in with that. Okay, so there it is right there. I'm going to mix that up. To mix all this cheese up together. Alright, so we got our cheeses mixed in there. And I'm going to show you how we work this cheese right here. So now to this, we're going to add, take this out for now because we're going to use our whisk. Put that on there. You know what? Bowl. Okay. One. Two. This one cracked the way it wanted to. These are room temperature eggs, folks. I thought I saw a shell. Maybe it was just no, it was just this white part over here. Okay, that's two. Three. Four. And I'm going to start off with 4. And I'll see. I'll take a look at the consistency, and that will tell me where I'm at. Okay. So we'll whisk. We whisk that. that in here. I did have a shell in there. Okay, I'm going to add 2 more eggs. Be right back. Okay, where were we? 2 eggs. 2 additional eggs. 1. And 2. Okay, so whisk that. Alright, we've got that in. We're going to whisk deep down in there. Now that cheese, that's going to melt all over the place. Alright, so we've got that in there. We're going to add our ranch. About a cup, 8 ounces. And that'll give it pretty much all the seasoning you need. You know, you want to check for salt and stuff, but and you could do that before you put your eggs in. Like you put your ranch first and then your eggs. But this doesn't bother me. Okay, so I am going to go in here and taste this. It does need some salt. Say about 2 teaspoons. Let's say about a tablespoon salt. 2 tablespoons of salt. Which is everything I had in here, so get out of here. These little flies. Okay, I'm gonna wash that out before I refill it. Okay, here's my spatula. Mix that in there. Take the lid off. Okay, now we're going to taste. Perfect. So yeah, 2 tablespoons of salt. Alright, so now we're going to go over here and pour everything in. Alright, here we go. We're gonna put this just on a low, like a 2. Alright. See how sticky this is? That's how we want it. Now we're going to pour in our mix. Pour in half. And start to mix them. All the way from the bottom up. Okay. That cheese sauce will just blend right in. All the way around. Scoop it up from the bottom till you feel the bottom. Alright, that's it. That's all. It's all up from the bottom. Okay. Okay, well, that's all we needed that for, just to help get the bottom loose. So now, we're going to go in and do our tray. I guess I'll go back over here where I have more room. Bring you right back. Okay, here we go. Oh. Always start with a little bit of sauce, and I'll wash this out with a little bit of sauce at the bottom. Okay. Now, another good thing to do for the sauce, if you don't want to blend everything together, but it does make up for better mac, you can always use a jar of Alfredo sauce, you know, to help you along. That's a good way. And then just add your cheeses in between, like I'm getting ready to do. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to scoop up our mac and cheese.
We'll warm it up.
Okay, I'll put it on the grocery list. So just layer it out. Just like so. And you want it a little wet because you got 35-minute baking time. So it will dry out. And then when it sets, it comes all together nice and creamy. But together. Okay. Alright, so once you have your first layer in, we're going with the cheese. Okay. Then you go on with sauce. Okay. I'm telling you, this right here, takes a little bit of time, but I'll tell you what. You make a big batch of this and then you Ziploc bag it and you freeze it. Just take one out, put it in a pan, whatever, a baking dish. Let it melt. Cut it out of the Ziploc, or just pour it out of the Ziploc. Put it in the oven. You know, you spread it out, put it in the oven, and she's good to go. All right. Now for some more macaroni. You gonna tell me this ain't gonna come out creamy and delicious? What you talking about, Willis? This is the bomb right here, the bomb mac and cheese. That crock pot mac and cheese recipe, it's the bomb too, don't get me wrong. But this, this is extra creamy. Extra creamy. It's not really extra cheesy. It's the same amount of cheese pretty much, just extra creamy. Okay. Make me a little bit for dinner. I haven't even had dinner yet. We've been at the VA hospital all day today. I had to have cardio catheter done, you know, heart catheterization thing done, where they go in through the groin with the metal tubings and scopes, miniature scopes, tiny scopes. And they take a look at your arteries, your lungs. They go in there, they look at everything. They go in through your blood vessels. And all blood vessels connect to the heart, so it doesn't matter which one they pick. But they go in there with that through your groin, and they take pictures of it, they look at everything, and turns out all the abnormalities that were in my lungs are no longer there. So thank you, Yahweh, thank you, Yeshua, thank you, Yahuwah, Yeshua, and the Holy Ruach HaKodesh. For that miracle healing. And here we go. And the heart is good, the heart is strong, the arteries are in perfect health, the lungs are perfectly clear, and nothing at all wrong with them. So I got a pretty good report. Now the only thing is that I had developed a heart murmur. They discovered it back in 2013. It was really small and nothing to really, you know, have to pay attention to. But now it's done gotten louder. And they said that that's odd for a person my age, too young for that. So they're going to go in and take a better look. And if I need valve replacement, then we'll go that route. But I'm going to pray that all weapons formed against me shall not prosper. That is one of God's promises to us. And I claim it in Yahuwah's name and in Yeshua's name. Alright, so we got that. Put the rest of the cream sauce. You know? So yeah, but you know, all that other stuff, everything is gone. All disappeared. So I thank God for answered prayers. I do. He is still a God of miracles, you all. Are there any believers out there that can testify or agree with me on that? I'd like to hear from you. It's inspiring. It's inspiring to those who are going through similar or a difficult time health-wise, you know. Understandably, these bodies, they age, they're organic, made from the earth pretty much, so they do get disease and stuff, but a lot of times, you know, it's demonic forces that are trying to intrude on your life, because the closer you get to God, they don't like that. And it's not in a fear, because we have the victory to be, you know, via Yeshua, via the Christ. So there's not a fear like, oh, I don't want to be a believer because then the devil will attack me. Well, guess what? The devil will attack you anyway. All right? Make your life miserable, and you won't have any weapons to fight him with. Why? Because you're not believing and being obedient to God. So I'm sorry, but I'd rather have that divine, supernatural victory, power over the unseen, you know, demonic forces. Yeah, I'd rather walk with that on my side, with that sword, you know. But that's just me. I'm not trying to push anything on anyone. I'm just speaking on from my experience. All right, so we have that. And then just for good measure, we're going to pour in some milk. About a cup and a half, I would say. Just so it'll float. It'll seep in, trust me. And I'll just cover it like that. And then we're going to put some shredded cheddar. Oh, I'm sorry. A Fiesta blend. You can use Swiss cheese, Gruyere cheese, any kind of cheese, Oaxaca cheese, or Oaxaca cheese. I'm sorry, Mexican friends, if I'm not pronouncing that right. I'm just not Mexican. But that cheese is the bomb that you all make. But you can use whatever cheese you want to use. It's your baked mac. Whatever you and your family, loved ones, and extended families and friends like that you know of, add it in there. Have fun with it. It's my party and I cry if I want to. Well, actually, I'll add if I want to. I need to stop singing, you know, in the beginning when I made my videos, I was in the habit of singing. And I'm like, oh, y'all gotta stop me. Please stop me. Tell me to stop. But this brings me so much joy, I can't help it. And I hope it brings you joy, too, to get in that kitchen and get creative. You know, my hope is that in this world, the way it is, you know, dealing with traditions of men and a man's heart, or men's heart, men as in human beings, or the human race. It's good to get a little joy out of something and sing a little. You know, get that inner peace going. Feed it, feed it. Well, folks, there you have it. What do you think? You saw the process? Y'all need to let me know. Hold on. I'm trying to get you out of here. I'm trying to break you free. I'll be right back. All right. Look at that. I know it's a bad lighting, but you see that? And you know what's underneath all that cheese? More cheese. All right, and that milk is already being absorbed in with the rest of the mixture. So make yourself some. Try this recipe out. If you want, make yourself a little small batch just to try it out. Guarantee it'll be the talk of whatever feast you're celebrating or whatever occasion it is that you're making it for. And if it's just because it's a personal preference and you love baked mac and cheese, hey, that's the main event right there. Boing! So give me a thumbs up, a like, poke that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. Ding, ding. That way you'll be notified every time I upload a new recipe. Stay tuned because I've done the string beans, I've done the cornbread dressing, I did the baked mac, and I've got some more to do. Rice, I already have a video on the rice, and beans, I already have a video on beans, and so don't worry about that. I'm going to make a antipasto salad. I'll bring you along with that. I'm going to make some desserts. The blueberry cream cheesecake. And a strawberry cream cheese shortcake trifle. And what else am I going to make? There's some other stuff. There's going to be a lemon cake. Just so many goodies. You know what I did? I bought those Medjool's dates, the pitted ones, and I sliced them down the middle, and I made I took some cheesecake stuffing mix and stuffed them in there with some shaved walnuts on top. Yeah, I'm serving that as a little dessert hors d'oeuvre kind of thing. It'll be interesting. I want to see people's reactions. I've never done that before. But anyway, so there's more dishes. There are the meat dishes that I'm getting ready to prepare. I said repair. Prepare. And so stay tuned. This is going to be a prep video, and then the finale will be on the Feast of Tabernacles this Saturday, where I get to show off the finished product after everything is baked, you know. But stay tuned. I hope you all enjoy. Again, God bless you all. Take care of yourselves and one another. Bye.